where Latinos in the 1800s were lynched en masse, usually in Northern California. So what he would do is he would take the picture with the body hanging, but then he would take the body out and he would just leave the spectators and the rope, but no body. So it's a series of photos that are really, really powerful. And so one poem I want to read is from that exhibit. It's based on one of those photographs, and the photograph is called "At Day." And the poem is "Father above, mother below the hanging tree. A boy who slept among skinny, bony branches, his eyes sour like bile. Nobody would forget the day he was found hanging by his feet, the bloody cloth of disrespect dripping, his last breath fanning the mossy trunk. By all accounts, a memorable day. A crisp morning in Northern California, the moss dripping its diamonds upon the earth. The town that never recovered from the scorched gold mines. Now, early settlers blame them now. These last ones that arrived, barely clothed, the hats from border towns covering their naked dreams. The town's tyrants huddle like hyenas, cackle their despotic victory. One tyrant, tall and useless, searches the soil, perhaps to explain his bitterness. The boy's father, climbed another oak because his misery could fit nowhere else. He watched that one who is searching the soil, who is scraping his coward-stained hands. That one he sees helpless in his bitterness. Others huddle to frolic in the savage spectacle rather than watch the helpless spectacle. The father's arms are outstretched as if asking the biggest question, as if to embrace his boy. His son's arms stiff and stretched forward as if the boy thought, alas, the earth was going to catch him. And this was, some of you may know that I'm an acupuncturist. And some of you also may know that I have a fascination with William Carlos Williams. For many reasons. One, he was a doctor. Two, he was half Puerto Rican. I'm not Puerto Rican, but he was half Puerto Rican. Three, his first book, published in 1919, was entitled Al que Quiere. Think about that for a second. 1919. A writer by the name of William Carlos Williams. His first book to the world is called Al que Quiere. All the poems were in English, but the title, Al que Quiere. 1919. So William Carlos Williams was a doctor. And in post-Depression New York, he did most of his work for many, many years in the Lower East Side, which back then was called Hell's Kitchen, right? Nobody calls it Hell's Kitchen anymore, but it's essentially the Lower East Side, which was essentially filled with Irish immigrants, Italian immigrants, some Puerto Rican. So it was a very, mix of people, and this was all his patients. And so, a lot of his I think that influenced a lot of his poetics and a lot of his ideas about language. And so, I wrote this poem called regarding R.E. Colon, right? What you encounter in a day's work. So this is about work, and this is about writing these two different lives, and he William Carlos Williams did both of these things spectacularly. Great poet, right? Enormously influential, Pulitzer Prize winner, and also a great doctor as well. What you encounter in a day's work. Dr. Williams is sitting in my waiting room. Again, the treatment rooms are full with the din of back pain, those who also gasp with asthma. An elderly woman brings as payment a large papaya from her backyard. I cannot wait to ask Dr. Williams, is this why your poems, short and skinny, crowding 2 lifetimes into one, have the pulse of a spring river? We are in the treatment room. His heart has 2 beats, but he is happy about this. I ask to see his tongue. I ask him if to know the breath whereby understand the word. I ask about his English father, his Puerto Rican mother, Hell's Kitchen, how language was often dissonant. I ask him if we can speak like America. Thank you.